Alright, ladies and gentlemen, today I have a really weird, quite disturbing story to tell you guys. So, I talk a lot about the trade school that I was in. Over at this trade school, there was a medical center. Over at that medical center, there were these dentists. And I'll admit it, I was a stupid kid when I was younger. I didn't brush my teeth a lot. And so they had to pull out a lot of my cavities. So they're working on my fourth cavity. They start injecting me with lidocaine, everything like that. And they pull the tooth out. I didn't feel anything all day. And I don't think it's because of how numb my mouth was. Because I had my tooth pulled probably at around 1 or 2 p.m. And it wasn't until about 8 p.m. that I started feeling something in the back of my mouth where they pulled out the tooth, and it was really hurting. But I went over to the mirror, and after a couple of failed attempts, I was actually able to snag a picture of my tooth. And from the look of the picture that I took, it seemed like there was still a little piece of tooth sticking out of my gums. I don't know how else to describe it. It was weird. And the unfortunate thing was that I got my tooth pulled on a Friday. And so that meant that the dentist could not help me until next week, and I had to schedule an appointment with him. So I had to deal with it over the weekend, and day by day, it kept on getting worse. Monday comes around, and I try to make the appointment, but they told me that the earliest they could schedule it for was Wednesday. So I had to wait 2 days while my tooth was hurting like hell. And at this point, I could not eat. Like, I couldn't eat anything. It was so painful. So lunchtime comes around Monday, and it's hurting so bad that I can't eat anything. And I just thinking to myself, like, oh, they have some macaroni up in the cafeteria. Like, maybe I could have some of that. I swear, guys, I tried to take a bite out of that, and I had tears falling down my face because of how badly it hurt. So finally, Wednesday comes around, and I'm able to go to the dentist. I tell the dentist about how bad my tooth was hurting and how I thought that there might have been a small piece of tooth sticking out of my gums. And he opens up my jaw, everything, looks at it, and he starts freaking out. He didn't know whether to take me into the city, which we live 20 minutes outside of the city, because he didn't think it was trained enough to do this. He explained it to me like sometimes when you pull the tooth up, the gums get really sensitive. What he told me is that that piece of tooth that I thought I had sticking out of my gums was actually my jawbone, and that the jawbone had actually become infected because of the food that I was eating. So first of all, he had to clean it out, and then he had to go into the back of my mouth with a grinder. Like, he had to pry my mouth open and go in there with a small little dental grinder and grind down my bone and then stitch up my gums back together so that it wouldn't happen again. The dentist suggested to the nurse that she give me some serious painkillers, which she had on hand, but for whatever reason she was refusing to give to me. Now, I should make it clear that I've never been like a big stoner. I've never taken, I've never taken any like serious pills, nothing like that. So I don't know why she was refusing to give it to me when she had it, but she said that those were in case of emergencies. Now, you'd think that me having my jawbone sticking out of my gums and having to have the dentist stick a grinder in there and grind down my bone would be enough for her, but apparently not. So I was sent back to the dorm with some low-grade pills and pretty much was told to tough it out. Now, if you've gone through this whole video without cringing, then this next part is for you, because I'm going to show the picture of what my jawbone looked like sticking out of my gums. I gotta warn you, it's kind of bloody.